In today's video, we're going to be talking about how much protein you should be eating every single day to shred fat. So my name is Leif Arneson. I'm a vegan bodybuilder and fitness coach. I'm also the founder of thevegangym.com. And in today's video, I want to break down exactly how much protein you should be eating every single day to shred body fat as quickly and efficiently as possible. Now, notice how I'm talking about shredding body fat because that's a very important distinction. We're not concerned with weight loss necessarily. We're concerned with fat loss because weight loss can mean that you're burning lean muscle mass at the same time as burning body fat. That's not optimal. We want to focus on shredding body fat while maintaining our lean muscle mass. And the best way to maintain lean muscle mass while you're in a caloric deficit and focusing on shredding fat is to maintain a higher protein intake. So let's get into the research and figure out exactly how much protein you should be eating to ensure that you're preserving lean muscle mass and focusing all of your weight loss effort on shredding body fat. A joint study conducted by AUT University, California State University, and the University of Illinois found that caloric intake should be set at a level that results in body weight losses of approximately 0.5% to 1% per week to maximize muscle retention. With this caloric deficit, the study concluded, quote, most but not all people will respond best to consuming 2.3 to 3.1 grams per kilogram of lean body mass per day of protein, with 15 to 30% of their calories coming from fat and the remainder of calories coming from carbohydrate. A meta-analysis led by the same AUT University researchers provided a systematic review of 6 studies with energy-restricted, resistance-trained adult subjects. Now, energy-restricted just means that they're in a calorie deficit. They're focused on shredding fat. So the AUT University researchers reached the same conclusion in this meta-analysis as the previous study. Protein needs for energy-restricted, resistance-trained athletes are likely 1.05 to 1.41 grams per pound of lean body mass, or 2.3 to 3.1 grams of protein per kilogram of lean body mass, scaled upwards with severity of caloric restriction and leanness. So the bigger your calorie deficit is, or the leaner that you get, the lower your body fat percentage gets, the higher your protein intake needs need to be to ensure that you are preserving lean muscle mass. Now, lean body mass is everything in your body that's not fat. So it includes your skeletal muscle, bone, organs, water. It's everything in your body minus body fat. So it's your entire body weight minus your fat weight. So as an example, let's run through my lean body mass calculation so you can get an idea of how you could go about calculating this for yourself. So my fasted body weight that I measured this morning was 191 pounds, which is 87 kilograms, and I'm about 12% body fat right now. So my lean body mass is going to be 191 pounds times 88%, which is 100% for my entire body weight minus 12% for my fat weight. That's going to be 191 pounds times 0.88, which is 168.1 pounds. So that is my total lean body mass once I have subtracted my entire body fat weight. So let's continue looking at a few other studies to really determine exactly how much protein you should be eating when you're shredding fat to ensure that you are maximizing muscle mass retention. So a study from the Exercise Metabolism Research Group at McMaster University concluded that strength athletes on a caloric deficit should consume as much as 0.82 to 0.91 grams of protein per pound of body weight, which is 1.8 to 2.0 grams per kilogram of body weight per day, depending on the extent of your caloric deficit. So remember from the previous meta-analysis, the larger your calorie deficit, the more protein you should be consuming. And the leaner that you get, the lower your body fat percentage gets, the more protein you should be consuming as well. Now, another study from the School of Sport and Exercise Sciences at the University of Birmingham examined the influence of various dietary protein intake levels on lean body mass and performance during short periods of caloric restriction in athletes. Their findings indicate that young, healthy athletes need approximately 2.3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight for maintenance of lean body mass during short periods of caloric restriction. So collectively, these studies indicate that you should be consuming 1 to 1.4 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass per day, which is 2.3 to 3.1 grams of protein per kilogram of lean mass per day when you are dieting to shred fat. Now, please keep in mind that these recommendations are likely higher than you need. They're mostly for strength athletes and bodybuilders. So if you don't compete in any strength or bodybuilding style events, then you likely don't need this much protein. But it is definitely advisable that you eat a higher protein diet. So here are my general guidelines for protein consumption based on your exact fitness goals and your physical characteristics. Now, if you follow the high carb mantra that's really preached in most vegan health circles, these protein targets probably sound way too high. But trust me, I'd rather hit my protein and be safe in terms of consuming enough protein to ensure that I'm preserving my lean muscle mass than risk losing any of my hard-earned muscle when I am dieting down to shred fat. So for example, if an experienced weightlifter with 4+ years of weightlifting experience loses just a single pound of muscle when shredding, it could take 2 to 6 months of intense weightlift training to gain that pound of muscle back during your next bulking period. So assuming that you're working out 5 days a week for about an hour each day, that single pound of muscle could take upwards of 135 hours of intense weight training to gain back. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd rather eat a little more protein than I might need and ensure that I'm maintaining all of that lean muscle mass than risk potentially having to gain that muscle back during the next bulking period when I'm focusing on building muscle. It just doesn't make sense to potentially jeopardize any lean muscle mass while you're dieting down to shred fat. So that's the main reason that you really should focus on a high protein intake when you're shredding fat. So hitting 1 to 1.4 grams of protein per pound of lean body mass when you're focusing on shredding fat can be really difficult. You're already in a caloric deficit, so you don't have that many calories to work with and to really kind of bump up your protein intake. But even though it's a challenge, if you plan properly and use some protein supplementation like protein powders, then it actually is possible and it's definitely optimal for shredding body fat. So I highly encourage that you put in the effort and you make it work. So I hope that you found this video to be super valuable. If you did, please subscribe to this channel. Please like the video. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what other kind of topics you'd like me to discuss. I hope that you have a fantastic week. And until next time, keep challenging the freaking status quo.